Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa buddhang dhammang sanghang namassami. Homage to the Triple Gem, homage to Buddha Bhanteji, and salutations to our Abbot Most Venerable Kassapa Mahathera, dear respected Holy Sangha, Venerable monks, and dear Upasakas and Upasikas. Now, it is the time to listen the Dhamma. The Dhamma of the Lord Buddha is indeed very, very precious. This Dhamma which the Buddha himself discovered under the Bodhi tree, having gone through billions and billions of life, to discover, to find out the way to cease all suffering, and to find out the ways and means to grow towards enlightenment, to develop the path to awakenment. This Dhamma which is just like the pouring of rains, and it just quench our thirst. When a thirsty man who is looking for some water, and if he doesn't get that water, he surely die. In this whole samsara, we are also traveling endlessly, having traveled from one life to another life repeatedly, and this repeated existence is indeed very suffering. Suffering is not to be born as suffering, but then it again continues. The recurring existence itself is sufferings. We just have to understand our life in a correct meaning, in a right understanding, so that we can put an end to all this suffering which is caused by our own craving, our own ignorance. Having performed our actions through body, speech and mind, we create our own world. We prolong this samsara, these existences, driven by our own craving and ignorance. That is how we go to the next life and commit some karma, intentional actions through greed, hatred and ignorance. And then we move drifting in this vast ocean of samsara. So today we will discuss about how we can really put to an end, or we can start the path if you have not started it, or those who are already walking, how they can walk mindfully, how they can walk with understanding, with wisdom, with knowing the facts, the truth of our life. Starting with yourself, removing the causes, the condition from sufferings right there from your heart. In this sensual world, there are enough sensory pleasures, but nobody wants to go to Nibbana. Nobody wants to make an end of suffering because they themselves don't know what is their suffering. How they don't know the suffering, but when the suffering comes, they realize, oh, such a suffering, oh dukkha. But it is a wise person who actually knows the cause. He removes that cause and he is at ease. He knows this is the cause of suffering, this is the cause out of the suffering. I have a choice. Where should I go? How should I lead my life so that I can be safe and secure all the time? Many times, if you look into your own life, the actions, everything we do, there is two reasons, either with ignorance or with craving. We go to the extremes, we do not know where is the right path, the middle path. And just by not knowing this path, not cultivating enough through our actions, not cultivating enough to the mind, not cultivating enough to cleanse our wisdom, we suffer unnecessarily. For example, now also, how many people, they just come to the entrance, the door, and they just went out. Having seen the Buddha, having seen the Sangha right here, who knows this Dhamma? Many people, they just pass by relentlessly, they just go by, but nobody comes. Imagine how people are wandering, not by understanding, not changing the attitude, the way of life. Even some people also sitting right here also, they may not be mindful, they don't grasp this. So, the Buddha said, if you really want to put an end to your problems, the problems may be manifold problems. You maybe say that you have one problem and you say you solve it, but it doesn't end there. You have one more problem, which is just right there next to you. You have suffering, you end to it, you get over it, but you have another form of sufferings. So you can name it as dissatisfactions or problem with your and as at an individual level or in a family level or societal level or any level, we have suffering with this body and mind. You just have to understand this. The big thing, jati pi dukkha, jara pi dukkha, birth is suffering, death is suffering, we know it. but to realize that basic concept is not so easy. You should actually start with yourself. Your daily dealings, your ordinary things, how you are moving, how you are dealing with that. If you live mindfully with your ordinary, everyday life, I'm sure you will see this cause, you will see all the realities. So, that is how the Dhamma is really guardian, which protects our heart. How it does the Dhamma protects our heart? Protect ourselves from falling into danger. We give so much of importance to outward dhammas, which are not real dhammas, the things which create confusions, the things which create chaos within us, but we consider them something important. But in reality, the Lord Buddha's teachings are very important because it gives a refuge to oneself. You are taking refuge to yourself. By planting a seed of Dhamma in the heart, you can be relieved from all these chaos and disturbances, problems and worries in so many ways. You see, the khandha, the burden of khandhas, I would say the Buddha gave an example of the big boulder. If you're carrying that big boulder on your shoulder, if you feel it is so heavy, but Buddha says that's nothing. That stone which you're carrying is nothing compared to your khandhas, your aggregates of feelings, your body itself, your consciousness, perceptions, mental formations. These are the biggest heavy, wet burden which you are carrying all the time. So, but we don't understand whether they are really suffering. We think, no, they're not. Why can't you understand? Because we are lacking in insight. So today, then a person who try to understand this, trying to see this Dhamma, he has to start with fundamental precepts. He or she should follow an ethical code of life. He should cultivate good behavior. good values with his body and speech. He should refrain all those negativities. He should cultivate all the goodness, all the positivities, all the wholesome, skillful actions. Because once you are aware of your physical and verbal actions, then you can follow it, right? So you plant the seed of Dhamma in the heart, and you have to fence that, you have to protect it. How do you protect the Dhamma? By following at least basic fundamental precepts, just 5 precepts. So Sila is just like fencing, just like putting in fence. You see, you are protecting your own seed, right? Okay, then you have the seed of Dhamma with you. Many people, they got the Dhamma, okay. But what happens? They know the Dhamma, but they don't listen to the Dhamma. They say we know the Buddha Dhamma. Buddhism is, some people say, oh, life is suffering. The cause of suffering is craving. The suggestion of suffering is to come out of that craving. And the path is the Noble Eightfold Path. They know it by heart. Everybody in this hall, or who are watching this online, all of us, we know this. Through our history books, through our teachers, Buddha said like that. Dukh hai, dukh ka karan hai, dukh ka nirodh hai, dukh ka nirodh ka rasta hai. But just knowing that is enough. Knowing and putting into practice and realizing that through your own life is altogether different. Pariyatti Dhamma is one part, you learn it. But unless that Pariyatti transforms into realization through your own contemplations, it has no meaning. Right? It has no meaning. That knowledge is not really yours because you are not identifying yourself. That knowledge becomes just a theory. So listening to the Dhamma, it actually nurtures your understanding. It removes your doubts. It clarifies a lot of things. It clarifies. Whatever you have not heard before, you hear it. Some new things, some new contemplations. Then it deepens your understanding. So just like you are planting a seed, but you just throw it like that. You don't pour water. You don't give water. Do you think ever that seed will give fruit? It never comes. So many people, they just die. They just become barren as such. It doesn't have any potency because it doesn't get anything. Their Dhamma seed just withered away because of not putting water. Okay? So watering is important. You should take some time out of your busy life to come here, listen to the Dhammas, listen to the words of the Buddha, listen some wisdom. Why listening is important? You know, when your mother tells something in the childhood days, you remember, and that mother's virtue is still in your mind. My mother told me don't do this, don't do this, do this, right? All your so-called book knowledge is not remembered, but your mind, teacher said something, or your mother or parents have advised you, those things are in the mind. So listening is a kind of remembrance, a reminder of following the Dhamma to your own life. If you don't listen it, then fine, you're busy with your world, okay. That is your choice. Then you go around and enough things to irritate you, enough things to trouble you, enough things to get hatred towards you, enough things to create greed and attachments and anger, whatnot. You know that. If I say, how the world is functioning, what is the cause? The condition is greed, hatred, and ignorance. As simple as that. Can you deny this fact? Everything is governed by greed, hatred, or ignorance. You may name it in different ways. You can say attachments, craving, okay, that is also greed. You may say revenge, displeasure, disliking, hatred, right? Or ignorance of so many ways. People are so ignorant, they will not understand. They will take you to wrong views. In the name of dhammas, in the name of anything, they create so much of confusions in the mind. Forget about the clarity. So how to remove your doubt then? If you have, let's just say, you listen to the Dhamma, we come to the point of listening. First point I told you about fencing, putting a fence to your seeds, your plants. You are planting a hope, you are planting that seed in your heart. Let's say some of you are coming for many years, 5 years, 10 years. So those time you planted that seeds. But now that seed is not at the level of that seed alone. Now it is grown up. Is it so? Are you growing up that plant? If really it is like that, that means you are protecting it, you are giving water, and you are removing the weeds, you are removing your doubts and confusions. Some people, they may not get convinced just at one time. Coming alone, one visit, two visit, all doubts are clear. Their vichikicha is not there. It's not possible. You should come again, and you have to discuss. You have to ask questions to your teachers, to your kalyana mitras, to your friends. See, you discuss with them and you get them clarified. So, discussion. The next point comes as discussion. We discuss about so many worldly affairs. If I tell you what is the current affairs, there are so many experts are sitting here, or they can tell us what is happening around the world, in the Ukraine, and Russia, or in US, or in India, but they don't know what is happening in their mind. What is going on right now in the mind, we don't know. But we know everything about the world. We know all happenings in any parts of the world. How a mind catches those things so quickly? But we cannot even catch our own thoughts. We can't have a time to be mindful, to be aware of our own thoughts, which is very important. Do you deny this? It shows that for a person who has right view, he will accept it. He will say, oh, I am not mindful. I am not really aware. I am not aware of my whole being, my body and mind, but rather I am just going around. That is how we proliferate. We think about the world and we prolong our world. We create our world. We say, why I am wandering in the samsara? Because your thoughts is wandering endlessly. You are just wandering. You're hopping over. One impression comes, finish. Second impression. You have one sense pleasure through your contact, your eye or ear or nose or anything. Then you crave for another one. So, non-stop. So it is really something you have to ponder like this. I have to take a pause. I have to really contemplate and remove my doubts. I should go to the vihara. If you're going, then you ask questions. That is the benefit of coming here. You come here, you listen to the Dhamma, you understood it in your own understanding. Sometimes your understanding is not the perfect understanding. Your understanding not the Buddha's understanding or the enlightened disciples' understanding. For example, when the Buddha gave the first discourse, he says, Anyasi vata bhokondanyo. Right? Kondanya has realized, Yam kinchi samudaya dhammang sabbang tang nirodha dhammanti. When he says, whatever dhammas which appears, is subject to cease. So Kondanya Bhante realized the very first discourse of Lord Buddha. But in our case, we may not. Why? Because we are not really prepared ourselves. We are not fulfilled those perfections, accumulations in our life. But how do you then accumulate? As you are accumulating all those things in your worldly life, right? You're accumulating your wealth or possessions or so forth. Similarly, the way of accumulating your merits depends on how you come here and listen to Dhamma. Listening and discussing is a way to accumulate the merits, the way to accumulate goodness, that which create the condition for understanding the deeper Dhamma. It's not really difficult to understand. It's not difficult to see and realize the simple truth, the simple teachings about the world and the heart, about the higher teachings. Okay, 3 things I mentioned already. Are you listening or not? I don't know. It's your body and your mind. So, well, now I am giving an example of a plant, and you have planted a small sapling, a seed. You are taking care of that. Those who are farmers, they know how do they take care of their field. Well, you have enough fencing, you have a strong border, you keep watering, you remove the unnecessary confusions, the weeds which take over the mind, right? By listening, the doubts, for example, which becomes a layer on your mental surface, right? Layers. Right? Take the example of water. If the water is really dirty, you cannot see your face. If the water is very, is covered with so many plants, water plants, you cannot see it. If the water is even boiling, you cannot see it. Right? If the water is colored, you cannot see it. Right? If water is very dirty, you cannot see anything. So likewise, you see your own mind, how it gets colored, how it gets heated up, how it gets polluted with so many things, conditions around you. Okay. So the next step is for a person, you comes to the vihara, you visits here, but the next part is you have to meditate, really. You just have to develop that peacefulness within yourself. Meditation is making yourself comfortable, as I say, in simple terms, making your mind more peaceful, making your mind more calm, because the calm minds, a stable mind gives you wisdom, understanding. And a stable mind, mostly, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Okay. So this we were discussing about how the calm mind creates the condition for wisdom. For example, you wanted to see this city, you wanted to see the Vidhan Soda, the beautiful architect in our state, in Bengaluru. But you are moving through a vehicle, and that vehicle is moving so fast, just like in a lot of speed, so rapidly that you can't even have a glimpse of anything. You got the point? But a person, if you slow down your pace, you slow down, or you're going by walk, right? You're going by a bicycle, or a simple trail through the street, and you see each and every object very clearly. Okay? Which means our speed, the way we are moving, is not a fault with the objects, is not fault with anything. It's just the speed, the rapidity, which hinder you, restrict you not to see those objects very clearly. That means mind is like that. You wanted to see the mental objects as they really are. You want to see whether the mind is surfacing, whether your mind is greed surfacing on the mind. You know that. If the mind is having hatred or animosity, anger, then you know it. How do you know this? Unless and until you are really calm. So calmness and peacefulness is important, because through that peaceful state of mind, you can clearly see the mental objects. You can clearly see the things, the conditioned things, your own nama and rupa, or anything for that matter. So a still mind, we need a still mind, because that is the way a still mind can tells you, it creates such creativities. A still mind gives you a wise thoughts, a true understanding, clear comprehensions of everything. A person who is really restless, not calm, not tranquil at all, how can you see the causes and condition from your sufferings? How can you see the things which are good for you, the things which are harmful for you? So slow down the pace in your lifestyle. How do you slow down the pace? How? How you slow down? You are working day and night, you are moving in a very fast vehicle, every day in and out, the day starts with work, the day ends with your work. No time for the mind. Right? You are sitting here, but someone is taking a photo or video. Very good. Yes. Your mind is in the mobile. Your mind is not with the Bhantes. That is how we start with I said you are busy, that means you are with the phone. Also, you use these things day and night. What do you gain? Loss of sleep. You lose your sleep, you lose your mental peace, because your friend says all these things are your own friends. So in reality, we have to slow down our pace of life and take some time off, and then come to a place, peaceful place, where you can enjoy the peace. Right? But human tendency is that they can create chaos in even a peaceful place. Because of our agitated mind, we can create a lot of troubles outside. Just because of our own selfishness and own indisciplined way of things, we create a lot of problem. You give them the best of best thing, but they will spoil it. Why? Because of this thing. So calmness, you should come here and stay calm. Calm your body, calm your speech, and calm the mind. Then that calm mind will take you further to deeper realities. You realize your own understanding, the right understanding will arise. Unless and until you are calm, forget about your right understanding, right view. Your view will never be straightened, your view will never be upright. And your thoughts, you will lingering on those thoughts. These thoughts will not be positive thoughts at all. So, supporting. Samatha is indeed a supporting dhammas. it supports our heart. Like you are doing Buddhanusati, contemplating on Buddha's qualities, you can do. If you have no time, if you are traveling or you are at work, you can do Itipiso Bhagava Arahang 9 times. You can do even Arahang Bhagava. You can just observe the breath. Is that so difficult for you to observe the breath? No. You can do such a difficult task, but you cannot even watch the breath. Right? So, how many times a day you are with your breath? You ask yourself, how many times I spend time? The time I spend with others, the time I spend for my livelihood, time I spend for my daily activities or my exercise, for example, food or rest or entertainment. You have your time, you fix your time, but you should also fix your time for meditation. Being with your breath, being aware of your on your in and out breath. 5 minutes a day, right? Some of our upasakas, they are really very good. They are very sincere. I know many of them. They're coming here many years. They can even sit for half an hour, 1 hour. You know, they can do chanting, lot of chantings. They do sitting meditation, walking, or even nothing. Then they can listen to Dhamma talks. How many Dhamma talks you listen? How many music you listen? You ask your question. How many times you go to your so-called YouTube or the Facebook medias or whatever, the social things? Thousands of times, you see. But you don't have time to listen a Dhamma or chanting and meditate. So when you are calmed down, my point is here, calmness leads to understanding. When there is no calmness, no understanding, there is always be confusion. So how do you calm down? Unless until you slow down your pace, you take off some time for yourself. Calmness will not come by simply praying or simply going here and there and you say, okay, I will go out of station, I'll go for some trips. I will find calmness. How it could be possible? So the last point of this is vipassana. You know, we have to take some time to contemplate the deeper dhammas. Like I said, to understand the truth in the light of realities, knowing the realities as they really are. Now this vipassana thing, it should be natural way. Vipassana, visheshana pashyati, you see through inside. But it is not only on the cushion you see or you realize some insight. It actually, you should realize those insights in your life, in your daily life. How you, through your own actions, everything can be turned out to be a vipassana way of doing. Everything, you can do it through insight. You can relate it, how these things are happening because of causes and conditions, how the things are really not me, I, or mine, or there is no permanent, everlasting thing as such, or you realize the selflessness or impersonality nature of everything. So, dukkha, anicca, dukkha, anatta, which are the universal characteristics of every phenomena, and when you see those after the samatha, when you try to build up strengthen your some vipassana practice every day, you know, you see your feelings, you see your mental formations, you see your body and consciousness and perception, and you disentangle yourself, you remove your entanglement. You understand entanglement? or it's tougher. Entanglement means kind of you are in a complete maze. You have to untie yourself, you see. By knowing this anicca, dukkha, and anatta can really give you the freedom. Yeah? Sila Samadhi, as I said in the beginning, you have the precepts. Precepts also gives you freedom, freedom from non-remorse. You are not remorseful, you are not guilty. Dhamma discussions also give you freedom from your proliferation, freedom from doubt, confusions. You know, it can give you joy also, the happiness you get it from listening Dhamma. Then your doubt, you remove when you discuss it again and again. You come to the teacher, you ask that questions. Then the doubt which you created in the mind, it will be clear. Right? Sometimes by meditating also you can remove this doubt, the doubt from the mind also. Like the Nivarana Dhammas, the Pancha Nivaranas, one of them is doubt itself. Doubt is an obstacle in your practice. Or even following any path, forget about your practice. Coming here is also, you will not come here unless you have confidence. You cannot come here. If you have doubt, you cannot come here. So, and samatha practice, practice of breathing meditation, practice of metta, for example. You follow metta every day, you do. Then you are peaceful, you are happy, right? You are calm all the day because you have that positive energy, you have that universal love within yourself. So you should have to charge your mind with all these practices so that it creates peacefulness. It creates a kind of peaceful abiding for yourself. And then through that peaceful state of your mind, you know the deeper Dhamma, you can see and realize the realities, the ultimate truths, the noble truths. So, it is up to us now. We have a very good opportunity having the Buddha as our supreme teacher. He has laid down this path. The Dhamma is in front of us. And the living Sangha, we have a chance to practice together. Not only us, there are many, the great enlightened monks, they're practicing. They're trying harder, they're trying to cultivate this goodness within, like in Thailand also, in Sri Lanka, in Burma, in all those Asian countries around the globe. There are many followers of Lord Buddha. They are really practicing very seriously. They are the great examples. Like recently we had been to Thailand, and when we lived with and such a great master, Tanajan Anand Bhanteji, we are so blessed. We feel so peaceful just to be associated with him, living in that vihara, meditating together, chanting together, going for alms round together, coming back and having our meals together with all the Sangha community, then listening to the Dhamma, you see. These are the things which we can term as the greatest blessings, to have the great blessings to have this precious Buddha's teaching with us, So there are enlightened masters like Ajahn Anan and many other great teachers still there. They are blessing us, they're supporting us, sharing their metta with us, like Bhadabhante himself also. He has such a great compassion for you all, for our people, to give them a way, give them this gift of Dhamma, so that they also can grow. So I will not take it more time. So today we will leave at this point, that how we can, the topic is how to grow in Dhamma, or how to grow that Dhamma seed within yourself. The 5 points I have mentioned already. Maybe those who are attentive or listening, they know these things. I gave an example of how you can really develop in Dhamma, in the path of your practice. So, with this, I will leave at this, so that I leave you up to you the contemplation that Dhamma is really important. And for humanity, the Dhamma is very, very special. We have, if you compare the other sentient beings, human beings are extraordinary. Why? Because we may say that we have a mind, but there are people also have a mind, but not a human mind after all. There are people with terrible mind. They're not really human, even though they are human. But when you have Dhamma in that mind becomes a Deva mind, a divine mind. And that mind also can become an enlightened mind, only through practice of Dhamma. So, dear friends, I bless all of you. May you all be blessed by the Triple Gem. May you keep growing and practicing this way as for in accordance with the Buddha's teachings, and make yourself a true refuge. Be your own refuge. With this, I conclude here. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.